serious. What was something you saw you were definitely not supposed to see? Borrowed my dad's camera, found out he was gay. The code to open all the doors in my primary school at the time. A lot of power to open any locked door for an 8-year-old. I used to work in the basement of a pretty large hospital doing engineering work. They'll often cart dead bodies out of the hospital through the basement, so it's usually not a big deal. You just tend to try and ignore it. One time, as I was finishing up a test in a pretty remote room, I walked out to an entire security detail escorting a body. I just got immediately shoved back into the room, so nothing really exciting happened, but I always wonder who that could have been. I work in a major hospital and we service everyone from politicians to celebrities. It was most likely a well-known person, or possibly a person from a hot news report that the media was focused on, even if it was only a sheet and you couldn't see the body. The ordinary people, the reporters, and the paparazzi try their best to take photos. We have caught people pretending to be patients. We prevent ordinary people trying to sneak a picture, which can easily be sold or leaked. No matter how famous, in life or in death, a person is entitled to privacy, and it is the hospital's responsibility to heal them and always protect their rights. Hard drive failed on my dad's computer. The data recovery software did a pretty good job, really, but I could have done without it recovering nude and lingerie shots of the various women he's been banging behind my mother's back over the years. Back when I was a teenager, we hosted a New Zealander at our house for a couple weeks. Guy gets to our place after the flight, and about 10 minutes later, I'm walking around my house to see where he's at. The door to his room is partially open, and the dude is laying face down on the bed and humping the ever-loving fuck out of a pillow. I backed away slowly, like Homer when he saw Apu cheating on his wife. I felt bad for the pillow. Edit. For all of you asking, no, it was not a wool pillow and it didn't resemble a sheep. As a New Zealander, I apologize to you and the pillow. What the actual fuck? I found invitations to my big surprise 18th birthday just lying on the floor a few weeks before the event. I had to act surprised when the time came to walk through the door to the party, which I did. The only thing is, my twin brother also knew, which I didn't know at the time. And let's just say his acting skills are really bad. So we both found out in different ways about the surprise party, but neither of us knew that we found out about it. So when I walked through the door for the surprise, I could tell from his reaction that he knew. Dude robbed a gas station. I was riding my bike in the back, saw him take off his mask and get in a car. We made eye contact. I turned my head and acted like I didn't see anything. When I was in my late teens, I was sitting with a friend in his car at a set of traffic lights, about 3 a.m. on a quiet street in the city. At the next set of lights ahead, which was maybe 30 meters away, I saw a guy walk up to the car waiting for the lights to change. He extended his arm and fired a shot almost point-blank range at the passenger window, before quickly walking off. We sat there in shock for a minute thinking, did we just fucking see what we thought we saw? While the car sat there through 2 more light changes, before slowly rolling away. No other cars were on the street at the time. The next day I saw on the news some dude from a gang called the Assyrian Kings was shot in the head in a car and died right around where we were the night before. We never said shit about it to anyone, as we decided we didn't want to get involved, being paranoid teenagers. When I was a young teen, I was once leaving my house to go do something in the neighborhood. As soon as I got out of the door, I heard my parents at the garage. My mother seemed to be in her car, and my father was sitting down behind her car and pleading with her not to leave. My parents were divorcing, and I saw a few scenes that I wish I never had. Not really horrific, but seeing your parents in emotional pain can be rough. That's rough. That reminds me of me walking out into the hallway and seeing my dad hit my mom for the first time when I was like 10. I couldn't sleep, and I've always been a mama's boy and heard her crying. She was on the floor, and my dad had a most evil glare in his eye. I just ran back to my room scared and cried for my mom. I do conventions and corporate events for a living. Was once called into a room to fix a power cable. It was a meeting of a worldwide, well-known house paint manufacturer. It was a closed-door meeting and I had to be let in to do my job quickly. They didn't stop talking as I did my work. We've pulled all the units from production and recalled all units on the shelves, but the ones still in transit cannot be recalled. They might be caught when they reach the sales floor if the retailers are still watching the recall, but it will have been weeks since we issued it. The guy who then responds to that states that they can prove they did their diligence in court with the recall and any units sold to consumers will be the retailer's fault. I never did get to hear what the recall was for, but they seemed pretty tense over it, legally speaking, so I doubt it was quality control. I felt like I had witnessed the mafia talking about a murder. The salaries of everyone working at the company I was working at. It was a smaller, startup digital ad agency with about 60 employees total, and someone from HR was making copies of a document that listed everyone's salary and left the original on the glass of the copier. I found it and turned it back in, but not before I went through that list to see what everyone else made, and discovered that a couple new hires working the same position as me were making more than me. So after turning it in, I met with my manager and used my newfound knowledge to my advantage to successfully negotiate for a raise, along with a tacit promise that I wouldn't divulge what I knew to anyone else in the company. The owner of the club where my sister worked took an armload of shotguns out of his truck. It was about 3 a.m. and I was parked behind the bar waiting for her. The reason I know he didn't mean anyone to see is because he covered them with a tarp, and he gave a good long stare around when he got out. Shady fucker. He was up to every kind of no good. I literally scrunched down in my seat. A bit boring, but I found an engagement ring in a closet 6 months before my boyfriend popped the question. In those 6 months, I kept going back to the closet to put the ring on my finger and admire it. Props to your boyfriend for being able to keep the ring for more than 6 months before proposing. The day I had the ring in my hand, it took everything within me to not pop the question on the spot anytime I saw my girlfriend. A guy taking a shit under a bridge. What really freaked me out is that he probably walked around the rest of the day smelling vaguely of shit. I still think about it sometimes. Worked for a downtown metropolitan hotel for a long time and I've seen a lot I wasn't supposed to see. Probably the worst was a kid with an old man. Checked this guy in at like 1 in the morning, not uncommon because people travel at different times, but he was alone. Like an hour later, he asked for something like a towel or blanket. Anyways, dispatched our runner to deliver it. After the runner comes to me and says he thinks something is wrong because he caught a glimpse of someone and the old guy was trying hard to block the entrance. Being that we were supposed to take stuff like human trafficking seriously, I asked our maintenance to cut his power so we would get a call to come up to try and fix the problem. He does, and I go up with him to apologize for the inconvenience because the guy was also a Tortier member. Sure enough, we hear a kid in the bathroom hiding. Tried to ask who the kid was, and the old guy tried everything to shut us down from throwing his status around to bribing. Called the cops and let them deal with it. Edit. Didn't expect this to gain so much traction. Here's some additional info for people that have been asking. I don't recall the specific charge, or if I was even told so, use your imagination. I don't know the age of the child. I only saw him briefly one time when the cops showed up. I don't know the age of the guy. This was in Southern California, as specific as I'd like to be. I tend to have a way of finding things out that I'm not supposed to due to my inquisitive nature, but one that comes to mind was when I left my last job. My general manager wasn't exactly a warm, woolly person, and was not pleased that I was leaving. I had to get something out of the manager's office and saw my name in an email on the desk. She had told the other 2 managers to wish me the best of luck in my future career, and that I would be missed. I was shocked because she actually took the time to send that out to them. Never heard that from any of them, but seeing it showed that she actually cared. Thanks for watching. What have you seen that you weren't supposed to? Maybe your story will be the next one we tell.